quality's good. Are we back up?
Are we good? Are we good? Oh, we're good.
Hey.
So yeah, no, I was watching another stream last night of them playing Overwatch.
Oh.
It gets really abusive.
Does it?
They were in their chat. Somebody's like, and they're talking poo. Like they just played them, and they beat them. But the guy still it was a chick maybe or dude, I don't know.
It was some person.
And then Sasquatch I got vape pens. I got
420 vapes.
I got 420 vape pens is his name on fucking Twitch. I almost died. Anyways, guys, we're back on. Yes. All right.
So today we're talking about a lot of the stuff in the Unearthed Arcana. We have the class feature variants that they have out. We're going to kind of go through that today. And we're also going to take a look at the Fighter, Rogue, and Wizard Unearthed Arcana that just came out as well. We're going to kick it off with the class feature variants. These I'm stoked about. I'm a huge fan of all of the stuff that's in here.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, you will catch me doing a shindig all day because I am literally stuck with that song in my head. Like, you'll be talking, and in the background, there's literally like, Baby Yoda, just playing in the background of you talking.
I'm so glad that we have this moment to share with each other.
Yes.
Because in the back of my head, I've got making pancakes.
We got to do like a mashup.
That's what Baby Yoda, baby Yoda. Get some baby and I put it on a Yoda. I don't know. Anyways, so let's get into the bulk of our content. Class features and variants. So all of this stuff that they're coming out with is more customization that you can do for your character and their class.
Yes.
Some of these kind of enhance abilities that you already get. Some of these are a choice you could do instead of taking something that's already on there. First and foremost,
well, my favorite part about it is that when if you go on there and you download it, it gives you the chart that shows you what is going to be an enhancement or a what was the word, replacement.
A replacement.
Yes. So like either or added in.
So all of these features are for every single class. We're going to kick it off at the top of the alphabet with the Barbarian. So, I play a Barbarian. I love the Barbarian. It's very.
Look at that hair.
I'm working on it. This is my Barbarian hair.
It was starting to look very bardic, and now it's going into the Barbarian
I'm going to get it braided.
Especially now that you've allowed the neck hair to grow itself back out again. After I did so much to teach you.
She said you take this sharp utensil and you press it firmly against your throat.
Or you pay someone else to do it for you.
Barbarians. It's a simple class. We all know them. We all love them. They've got some cool things in the Unearthed Arcana. First thing is first, survival instincts. So at second level, Barbarians get the ability called Danger Sense, which allow them to have advantage on saving throws against traps or things that they can see in front of them. It's an amazing feature and ability, but let's say that you didn't want to have that and you wanted to go for something else. Well, they included Survival Instinct. So instead of Danger Sense, it allows you to become proficient in your choice of 2 of the following skills. You get Animal Handling, Medicine, Nature, Perception, or Survival. You get to pick 2 of those skills on that list, and you actually get to double your proficiency bonus when you use any of those skills. So this is something that I would not expect to ever see in a Barbarian, is kind of expertise in some skills. I mean, I feel that sacrificing Danger Sense is a huge call, but maybe you wanted to play a Barbarian that has more use in their kind of role play elements. This is a great
you get like a
Wolfgar,
pretty much like from the Driss novels. You get a Barbarian that's a little bit more in tune with outside of his own group of people, and so maybe he's got a little bit more experience because he was raised by someone different or in a different atmosphere than most Barbarians.
So that's an amazing feature that
I think it's cool.
The other feature that they have, this is probably the thing that I'm most excited about, is at 5th level, barbarians get fast movement. So long as they're not wearing armor, they got a 10 feet of extra movement, which is really amazing and fun to have. The replacement that they have is called Instinctive Pounce. So at 5th level, whenever a creature ends its turn within 15 feet of you, you can see you can, as a reaction, move up to move up to 15 feet closer to that target. So that's a really cool kind of element to give to a barbarian. Most barbarians don't get to use their reactions unless it's like an attack of opportunity. There's not a lot of really good elements where you get to use a reaction as a barbarian. This kind of gives you that little bit of action to both, like, it moves you around the board. It's really nice to have a reaction outside of your normal turn that allows you to kind of interact with the game.
As you can tell, I don't play barbarians, so I don't really know much. Like, you have way more insight and, like, excitement, it seems, obviously.
I love them so much. That's my list. And so those are the two kind of features that they've given barbarians. A little bit more of a roleplay element, and it kind of changes up the fast movement, where either you get a static ability to move extra feet, or as a reaction you get to move up to anything that moves closer to you. So that's fantastic that I like. Next on the list we have the bards.
Yes, we have the bards.
Have you dabbled with the? Have you read much about the?
I have, and I love the spell like add-ons. Like, yes. I'm really excited about that. Like the cause fear. I mean, there's so many cool different types of like bards out there that you can create. So I think like being able to create like this bard that is more aggressive and not so like, oh, we're all here and I'm gonna inspire you. It's like you're looking like this is like the spells that they've provided you with create like an anti-hero bard.
It really kind of gives you the universal aspect of the bard.
Yes.
So they came out with the bard spells. They just expanded everything on the list that you got to choose. And it's a ton of amazing stuff. You get to see stuff like Mass Healing Word. That's something that wasn't on there before, and that's an incredible kind of healing utility that you can pick up as a bard. I
like Tiny Servant. I don't know why. I just really like Tiny Servant. I mean, it's like I know you can already get a servant, you know what I mean? But like a tiny servant, like that's just I don't know. I like tiny things, I guess.
They added a bunch of stuff. 1st to 9th level spells. So the expanded list makes it a lot more utilitarian.
I like the magical inspiration too.
This is probably the most.
This is one of my favorite things. I was like, that's so cool because you give all this bardic inspiration out, and sometimes it's not what you're hoping you'd be able to help with. Yeah,
bardic inspiration kind of has a fall short of like who it can help. Mm-hmm. For the most part, it helps any melee class very well.
Yes. Like a rogue is gonna really benefit from like if you have a rogue and a bard together, it definitely helps out the situation.
Yeah, but when you kind of get into like a bard and a spellcaster, like a wizard, the bardic inspiration can fall short sometimes.
Yes.
So along with the replacement effects of the Unearthed Arcana for these class variants, they also just upgraded some of the things already. So magical inspiration. This is for bards doing inspiration for spellcasters and healers. So it reads, if a creature has a bardic inspiration die from you and casts a spell, the creature can roll that die and add the number rolled to one damage or healing roll of the spell that the die is. So I love this. I love that you have bardic inspiration, especially that you can add to a heal.
Yes.
So you can inspire a cleric, and that cleric can cast Cure Wounds or Healing Word or what have you, and add a d6 to that heal. And that is, or upwards.
I mean, that to me is such a game changer right there. I mean, that could be the one thing where you're like, holy crap, like something like this is really going to shit. And then that one, if you get that really good roll, especially with that added 6, just getting like even a 3 added to something can really just, poof, that's it. That we got it. And like now our tank that went in there that was about to go down just got pulled right back in, and then now they can have their turn to finish off the whole thing. I mean, it's a really dominating feature to give on there. Not super OP, but enough to where if luck is on your side, it's definitely going to be something that you're like, oh my god, you know. It's like watching a really intense football game, and you're like, holy crap, what's going to happen?
And especially seeing kind of the bards being able to really assist the spellcasters, that element I really like seeing, and it makes me feel like playing a bard as a support gives me a lot of kind of choice and way to affect the battle.
Yeah, because I'll be completely honest. Playing a bard for me is definitely knowing that I'm going in to be a talker. Yeah. I know I'm going in because we're going to have the barbarian and the cleric and all these groups, and then you need someone that's going to like have those high stats to be able to get you to talk your way out of something if possible, or getting the extra things that you're looking for in your group. And like you're kind of a support, like everyone's like, oh, if you're gonna be a bard, make sure you get a couple of the cure word, like, you know, like the
healing words, a very common one, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and it's like you're like, okay, and you kind of know, like, I have a really easy job. I got to make sure that I have a good enough like range weapon so that I can be as far as I can to kind of do something. But this gives me a little bit more like, okay, now I'm really supporting the team. Like now I got to keep my eye on the magic caster too, because the magic caster might need that extra step. Whereas before it was like, okay, who's next? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and inspire you because it's going to help out. Like now you're like, you can plan ahead a lot more for something cool. Spell versatility is also a pretty cool one. Because we were just talking about this. Remember about spells? I don't know where was it here that we were talking about it?
I think so. When we were creating a character, and we were talking about like when you start building a spellcaster, depending on the class, you can feel kind of locked into the spells you chose.
Yeah.
The Unearthed Arcana actually settles this for a lot of spellcasters by giving spell versatility, which in this case, whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one spell you learn from the spellcasting feat,
So pretty much, you get a long rest. After your long rest, you can replace one spell as long as it's the same level spell. So like if you're like, shoot, I don't really like this level 1 spell. It's not doing us any good. We're going to take a long rest. I'm going to switch this one out with this other level 1 spell. And it says on here, they specify to you also what I like, because it clears up any questions. Because, you know, everyone wants to get on Facebook and ask a billion questions or on Reddit. Like, clarify this. It clarifies for you right here. It says, rule tip. Cantrips are spells. Yeah. Cantrips are 0 level spells, which don't use spell slots. When a feature applies to spells, that feature applies to a cantrip, unless the feature specifies that the spells must be of the first level or higher, or must expand a spell slot. So I think that's pretty awesome. I think the fact that your cantrip, even because as a bard, your cantrip can be everything. It could be for your...
Can I change out my magical secrets? There's the question.
What's that?
Can I change out my magical secrets?
What is that?
So magical secrets allows you to choose from other lists as a bard, so you can pick stuff out from a ranger or a paladin. I would say yeah, as long as it's within that same level and you already know the spell, I guess.
Which, if it's in your thing, in your...
I guess we'd have to...
Like, you have to pick... Like, you're talking about, like, when you can pick from, like, any other class's spell slot for... What's the feature?
Magical Secrets.
Oh, it is? That's exactly what it's called? I would assume...
That's a really good one.
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to have to... We'll find...
There's a question that people will be asking.
God damn it, Ben. You always got to make it so difficult.
No, this is great.
That's good. No, it's honestly good.
Classes.
Yeah.
Bard. That's fantastic. Because that's your lore bards, and I love playing the lore bards.
I mean, I'll have to ask a couple people. I'm gonna ask that question, and I'll get back to everybody next week on
lore
that.
bards just get more magical secrets. Everybody actually gets magical secrets.
So spell versatility. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one spell you learned from this spellcasting feature with another spell from the Bard spell list. The new spell must be the same level
I would say
as
no
the spell
then.
you replace.
I would say no
Magical
then.
Secrets. The chosen spells count as Bard spells for you and are included in the number of spells known column
Maybe yes.
of the
Then.
Bard table. You learn 2 additional spells, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know.
think-
Maybe it is. Maybe yeah. Because
I
now
don't
this says that it says it is known as a bard spell.
Now here's the kicker. You choose 2 spells. Those 2 spells you choose get added to your table. Now, when you use spell versatility, you can take a bard spell you know and swap it with another bard spell you know. I would think that Magical Secrets adds 2 spells, but you could swap that Magical Secret out for
the other magical secret that you already
But you
know.
can't replace your Magical Secret chosen spells.
I would agree with that. That sounds like something Travis would tell me that's probably how. I'm gonna ask him and see what he says. We'll see. I'll ask and I'll get back and get a definitive answer on
That's
that
pretty
one.
cool.
I think that's amazing.
I always so Magical Secrets to me is amazing because by the time you pick out of spell lists like the spell levels that are available to you. So classes like Ranger and Paladin don't get spells till way later on.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think a Paladin gets a 1st level spell when they're like 4th level. By that time, you can cast like 3rd level spells, and with Magical Secrets, as a bard, you can choose a 3rd level Paladin spell, which in some instances are like game-breaking, super-powered spells.
Well, that's why a lot of people go bard for the Ranger Swift Quiver.
Yeah,
Because
Well-
you get it at 10th level.
because you get that. You can also I also like picking up like
You guys
the
are cheesy.
summon ally stuff. There's a couple summoning spells you can pick up from the Ranger that are crazy, really cool. So yeah, spell versatility. You'll see this in every spellcasting class. They really kind of gave you the ability to redesign your spells so you don't feel so locked in to what you've chosen.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. For someone like me who's very insecure and indecisive about what I'm going into, especially since a lot of these stories I'm not super familiar with. Like if we go to Eberron, I could probably be like, yup, we're gonna need these spells. Whereas like if you send me into the jungles of Cholt, I know some stuff that I might need, but I'm not like super versed in like the world. And so I pick up these spells, and then there's always that one spell where you're like, is this really the one? Is this the one? Or no, okay, I'm just gonna stick with it. And then the fact that you get that long rest and you're like, okay, I already just went through that. Now I know that was complete garbage. I'm just gonna switch that out really quick on the long rest.
I think the most common thing you'll see with spell versatility, if you play a class that doesn't have dark vision, like you'll see classes take light or dancing lights or something like that. Until you get Goggles of Night, being able to swap out that cantrip for something else, I think you'll see a lot of changes in that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Following on the list, we have Clerics.
I don't know much about clerics. I played one once and I was like, not for me. I know people love it. I mean, Josh loves it. We got Lee who comes in and loves it. For me, I'm not that big on that kind of support.
So with Clerics, again, you'll see the spell
Your
versatility.
lives are in my hand.
Clerics are unique where every day you get to choose whatever spells you'd like. However, it doesn't apply to the cantrips. With the cantrip versatility in the Cleric, it allows you to switch up your cantrips. So again, it just allows you to kind of pick out the spells you like the most. They expanded the Cleric spell list, so you'll see a handful of spells that are added on there. They're all pretty amazing and cool. Channel Divinity. They've enhanced it a little bit. Whenever you expand your Channel Divinity as a bonus action, you get to regain a 1st level spell slot, which is cool. And then they've also given you
Clerics get Branding Smite.
what?
Their expanded spell list.
Oh, yeah.
Branding Smite, that's pretty good.
Branding Smite's cool.
2nd level, yeah.
Cossphere is fun.
Because, I mean, 2nd level is probably one of...
Second level is probably one of like the least used spell slots amongst like
Which one is?
spellcasters. 2nd level.
Really?
spells. Yeah.
There's some stuff that's in the 2nd level, like Spellbreaker, that's kind of cool, but it's Nothing crazy. So clerics get a little bit of love. Blessed strikes at 8th level. You can replace your divine strike or your potent spellcasting depending on what route you take. And instead, you are allowed. Instead, in battle, you are blessed with divine might. When a creature takes damage from one of your spells or weapon attacks, you can also deal a d8 of radiant damage to that creature. Once you deal this damage, you can't use this feature again until the start of your next turn. So it gives you kind of a constant. You get a constant application of damage, which is cool. I like its radiant. Radiant damage can work really well. I think it's themed pretty well for the cleric. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, you know what needs to happen?
What?
I think you guys need to help me, and I'm talking like you guys too, like you guys need to help me create a character that's completely out of my comfort zone, and then we got to run something that you think would make me fall in love with that character.
Deal. I could do that.
Barbarian, 1,000 tiny deaths. Let's go.
1,000 tiny deaths. Game on.
Hey, I feel like I'm the guy at the table that's like sitting with the mug that's like, make me a character that I would say I'd hate, but make me love it. Convince me. You know what I mean?
Build
like,
me a character worthy of more.
If I were to make you a character,
how a pile of cobalt says, Fritz.
If I had a character I knew you would hate, it would be a human fighter. It would be all plain Jane.
Well, see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I hate that. So now I would want you to run something that would make that you think would be like she's gonna fall in love with that character because of this module.
I could come up with some.
Like that's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Because I would especially like clerics, and I want to dabble in all the worlds. You know what I mean? I've never played a wizard or any sort of warlock or anything like. I've never magic characters besides a bard are probably for some reason I've just no interest.
You know what you would love? A wild sorcerer. Holy cow. I think that would be your jam. As soon as I taught you how to use the chaos table in your favor all the time, that would be... I think you would love that the most.
Convince me.
I have spoken. Next up on the list, we have druids. Druids get a lot of cool... Well, they get one really cool feature that I'm a huge fan of. Again, you'll see the spell versatility in there. Expanded the spell list, so you've got a selection of good things on sale, strangers.
Now, while we're going into this, this last weekend, I think it was like on Sunday, we had Peyton come over to our house, and Peyton came and hung out with Josh and I and my son, and excuse me, and we were all sitting down and we were playing Unearthed Arcana characters. I pulled out my Swarmkeeper, who guys, if you have a chance to even try play testing some of these ones, I highly suggest a lot of these new ones that came out, because Zeke was enjoying his rune fighter. He was having a blast with it because he's a drow rune fighter. So I think it's precious because he plays like a young drow rune fighter that Josh's characters, like everybody wants to talk to him because they're like, well, he's because we're in Glipdoc. So they're like, well, that's the drow. He must be in charge. And I'm like, and I'm like a human. I play a human ranger, and I'm supposed to be like short and stocky. And I'm like, and I come in, I'm like, he's too young. He doesn't know. And I like push him out of the way. It's a great dynamic how it got set up. But the Swarmkeeper, I have her as a beekeeper. I love it. Now Peyton though, she did the druid, the Circle of Wildfire. It is amazing. You guys have to check out the stats on that and like all the cool stuff that's on
Wildfire Druid.
Circle of Wildfire.
Oh, okay.
Circle of Wildfire. And she like did her character with it was a halfling with like the hair is like red and orange and singed. So and it's like puffy and like super like like dried out, you know? Yeah, it's like dried out hair, so it's like super like puffy and out is how she explains it. She's like, you could tell my attitude just by looking at my hair. No, she plays a gnome. This is so good. This is so good. I mean, it was great. And I can see with like the Wild Companion, they're kind of pulling off of some of what was there from that. And that's what I was trying to get at. That's what I was circling around. But it was like it looks like they're going in and they are picking some of the stuff that people did like in these previous class features. And it looks like they're trying to add it to this to see if well, maybe we can add it in like this.
Yeah,
you know?
some of the things that they've come out with, they've just decided, this should just be a base feature, and it should just be available to everything.
Yeah. So you'll see that if you guys are going in there and actually give the Unearthed Arcana a chance and like kind of just sit with some friends and find friends to like play these things and have, and you want to make sure that you have a DM that's going to be way more flexible and is going to be a little bit like, okay, well, explain to me what that is. We'll do it. Sure. Like, let's make it work like that. You know what I mean? Like that, you want to find that kind of a space when you're playing these characters.
I gotta tell you, I found an article, and it's the 5 best homebrew, rules people have come up with. I love one of the things is called, it's campfire talk or something like that. So in a lot of scenarios, this is just off topic. This is like the whole variable DM thing. So I love this. So what they do is it's campfire talk. So you say you're going to be on a journey and you have to take a long rest. So you have all the players sit down and you have one player pick a card from a deck. And depending on what suit they pull, they have to share a little bit about their character in character to the group, and it kind of helps build the dynamic and understanding stuff. So like the themes are like a love story, a story of loss, a story of something else, and like fortune or whatever. And so it's just like a fun way to kind of bring in your creativity, and I think it would work great with Unearthed Arcana.
That does sound really good with Unearthed Arcana, especially if you're picking up something that you're like, well, this is new, and nobody else has done this, so you can't really pull off of what you've already seen. You're like, this is my interpretation of this. I think that's great.
Like the Swarm Keeper. You're like, that would be cool. Like, okay, it's
I was not doing my good Bjork voice this last weekend though, like I did with you. No, I was like zoning my like inner Bjork when you were playing with us that day when I was doing this work. This time like she sounded like my grandmother when she was like a young girl trying to speak English. I mean, that's what it came across. I was like, this isn't coming out right. Like, I'm not happy with this right now, but
that's great. Anyways, back to topic, the druid. It's wild companion. So wild shape, they've kind of added an enhancement. So now when you use your wild shape feature, you can do it as normal by turning into another critter. Or you also gain the ability to summon a spirit that assumes an animal form. As an action, you can expand a use of your wild shape feature to cast the Find Familiar spell without material components. When you cast a spell this way, the familiar is fey instead of a beast, and the familiar disappears after a number of hours equal to half your druid level. I really like this part because so the wild shape is a part of every element of being a druid.
Mm-hmm.
And in some aspects, druids kind of like shepherd druids. They're not really intent on like becoming beasts. Like that's not really their flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of lose out on that wild shape ability. By adding this enhancement on the wild shape, being able to you can cast a Find Familiar spell and you can do some more stuff with it. I think it integrates really well with all of the other avenues you can take as being a druid. So that's cool.
Yes, I do enjoy the two sides of that one.
I miss in like 3.5 in Pathfinder, druids actually have animal companions, and like the only way to get that now is with the Beastmaster Hunter, and it's so lackluster.
That to me has kind of always been my problem too. Like it's frustrating that because I came into the world of D&D thinking that I could have a druid and have all these animals and have like a companion that follows me because that would make sense, right? Like if I live in the fucking forest, one of them are going to be my best buddies, right? But then they gave it to the ranger, and then that was really confusing for me as a new player because I was like, I mean, I get, if I wouldn't have had read the Drist books and know like who Mushi was, like Montolio was, and like how he was this ranger of Maliki, and this is the wild, and that's why he has the owl that's his companion, and he could talk. I would have never really known what was going on. You know, I'm like, why does a ranger get this? Like, why does it matter for them to have a companion? Like, it's very confusing if you don't know and you're coming in and you're like, that doesn't, to me in my brain, knowing like stories and watching like fantasy movies and stuff like that, you would always assume that the druid is the one that's going to come out of the forest with a bear next to it.
Yeah.
Not a ranger that's got, you know, like, yeah, they spend time out in the forest hiding in the trees, but they're not, to me, they're not spending their time talking to animals like a druid would like obsessively be about that, you know, especially one that's about a circle of their focus is on animals, you know? So that did bother me too, Ben. Like, that was something as a chick that, like, a girl that's like, I want to be like a wild thing, you know? Like, I want to have I want like stems in my hair, and I want to have like I was obsessed with the brown wizard from Lord of the Rings, where he's got like the bird's nest and the little bit of poop.
It's not even a little bit, dog. That's a lot of poop.
I was like, I love him, and I want to be him. And then when I realized you really couldn't be him in D&D, like you can kind of be something like that, I was highly disappointed. You know, but that's why. And then, again, I kind of get that if I wanted to from like Swarmkeeper, but it's a ranger. It's not a druid.
That's fair. I wish that there was like an implement, at least in DDAL, for getting companions, because I feel like in home games, giving someone a companion is really easy.
See, like Fritz said, or the artificer. That's true.
Yeah.
Because they get the Robo-Doc, like the big, remember the big?
Yeah.
He's cute.
Arf,
but
but that's talk for other stuff. So following down so that's it for the druid. Following is going to be the fighter. So the fighter has a ton of stuff that they gave to fighters. So without just sitting back and reciting all the things about it, if you are interested, check it out at dndadventure.org. There you'll find links that'll kind of take you to the class variants. Fighters, they get a lot of they have an additional fighting style option called Superior Technique. They added in a bunch of awesome maneuver options like bait and switch, brace, silver tongue, snipe, studious eye, ambush. What I'm seeing a lot with the fighters, because they're so plain Jane all of the time, or a multi-class like option most people choose, they're kind of making the fighter really dynamic by adding in a lot of these like more technical skills, which is really cool to see.
Sorry, guys.
I am enjoying kind of the flavor they're giving the fighters.
So one thing about these is it says at first level, which is really interesting because you don't get a lot of these until second or third level, depending on what. But it also says that like as the maneuvers, if you have the superiority dice, you get these benefits. If you're a level 1 human and you take the superiority dice feat,
it'll
get these in addition to. That's so dumb.
No, and that's what I was realizing. God, I can't even talk. A lot of the stuff is first level that they're giving. I feel like they're trying to empower the first level player a little bit more, because I do feel like when you walk into something, and if you're new to the game, I feel like you're looking at it and you're like, this is very lackluster.
Yeah.
You know? So, Ben, can you mute me for just a second? I'm gonna blow my nose really loud.
Just play a train noise. Bless us.
I got a cough drop in. I got dog tails back there. I'm trying. Tis the season, guys. Tis the season for boogers.
Next on the list, we have monks. One really cool feature is the monk weapons.
The monk has got a big list of stuff.
Yes. So there's quite a few things, but it's all pretty basic. The first thing they're doing is they're enhancing martial arts. So a key feature of being a monk is you kind of had a list of like weapons that were like your monk weapons, and everything was like if you use your monk weapon, you get extra attacks, all this other stuff. It's always felt kind of limited with the whole like monk weapon list they give you. So they've kind of changed it and they've thrown it out. So now it allows you, so monk weapons. You can use this feature to define your monk weapons rather than using the definition in martial arts. So this is going to replace what you consider a monk weapon, but it's going to give you a lot of your own flavor for it. You practice your martial arts with specially chosen weapons, which become monk weapons for you. You can choose a number of weapons to be your monk weapons equal to 5, plus your wisdom modifier to a minimum of 5 weapons. The chosen weapons do have to meet the chosen criteria. The weapon must be simple or martial. You have to be proficient with the weapon, and the weapon must lack the properties, so they can't be heavy, they can't have the special property, or be two-handed. But it does kind of open up what you get to choose for your monk weapons if you want to kind of pull that avenue. So I like that. They've also given you, and they've kind of, your key fueled strike, they've enhanced your kind of your key abilities. So when you spend 1 key or more as part of your action on your turn, you also get to make 1 unarmed strike as a bonus action. So in privy to this, some of your key abilities, you would, stunning strike, that was your full thing. You didn't get bonus attacks, things like that. They changed it, so now whenever you do spend the key to use one of your key abilities, you do, as a bonus action, get to make an unarmed strike. So that kind of makes you a bit quicker, gives you more attacks, and kind of still, you feel like a master of the arts. And that's a real cool sensation.
Yeah. I feel like monks are just for the people that like kung fu movies.
That's me.
I do love kung fu. I mean, when I was 18, I went through a really bad kung fu movie stage. Like I watched so many kung fu movies.
I got a headband.
Oh, it was bad. I thought I was gonna be the next Jet Li.
Do you remember Surf Ninjas? It's my jam.
My brother used to make me watch that way too much. What was it? Junkie loves Emily. What was his name? I can't remember his name. What the fuck just happened? Hold on, come here. We thought he left for the farm like way at the beginning. What the hell is this guy doing here?
What are you doing? I thought you wanted to go.
I had to come back for the charger.
What charger?
My car charger.
Say hi.
Hello. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
No, late Thanksgiving. God, come on.
Yeah.
Why do we still have Halloween stuff up?
We keep it Halloween all day, every day.
Alright, see you guys later.
Bye, big guy.
Good luck.
And you're off. And we're back. But
he's gonna walk in and be like,
no, it's Rocky.
Heard you talking so much shit.
Rocky loves Emily. Yeah.
The 3 little ones though.
That was the 3 ninjas, I thought. I remember, and they were at home by themselves ordering pizza, and the bad guys came to break into the house, and they had to like defeat. I remember that. No, I was obsessed though. I'm not gonna lie.
Anywho, the monk. Yes, they're definitely for people who like
Kung Fu, Jet Li. I like the Drunken Master because that's just straight off Jackie Chan Drunken Master movies, dude. And those are the shit. Those are the original one's the best one.
That's fair.
Yeah. So now we got the Paladins.
Yes.
Another class I don't really play. I play Paladins in video games, and I'm a bitchin' Paladin in WoW. I'm all about the Paladin life in WoW. That's my favorite. I played all the other classes, Paladin shit. I've never played it on D&D.
Oh no.
I gotta do it.
Let me tell you a little bit about the Paladin upgrades.
Besides what I've read, tell me.
Probably one of the highest single target damage dealers out there.
Is it really?
With your
Yeah, I know.
smite and all that crazy stuff.
Well, I was telling him that for me, I always played them. I've played paladins in the majority of the video games I play. Like, I'm a tank all the way, you know, on a video game. That's my favorite to do is tanking. Yeah. But I've never done it playing at the table. I don't know why.
So paladins, paladins are one of the classes that you get to choose a fighting style.
Yes.
They've added a more paladin-specific fighting style that you're allowed to choose, which is called Blessed Warrior. It allows you to pick 2 cantrips of your choice from the Cleric spell list. They count as paladin spells for you, and charisma is your spellcasting ability for them. Whenever you gain level in this class, you may replace one of these cantrips with another cantrip from the Cleric spell list. Pretty nice, cool flavor that you get to add. Allows you to get Sacred Flame early on, which is I think that all paladins should just automatically have that. Like, that should be, as a free action, you can just cast Sacred Flame on everything.
He says.
That's just how I feel. They've expanded the paladin spell list a little bit. So you're gonna.
Well, would you choose Sacred Flame and Guidance, or Toll the Dead, or what would you choose as your 2?
If I were to choose 2 cantrips from the Cleric spell list to put on my paladin, it would be Sacred Flame and Guidance. I'd probably choose Guidance. I would be a paladin. I would follow St. Cuthbert. I mean, I'd be for the people. I'd give guidance to the common folk and whatever they're doing. You know, I like that flavor.
Get out of here.
I'd love it. I think it's great. Or, you know, I enjoy the fact they give you the Blessed Warrior, because if you want to multi-class into a paladin and you're already a class that has like those fighting features and there's nothing else you want to take, the Blessed Warrior is a cool option to kind of gain in a multi-class setting. That's how I feel, at least. You get an expanded spell list. You can cost some stuff. Your channel divinity is enhanced whenever you use your channel divinity to fuel your spells as a bonus action. You touch your holy symbol, utter a prayer, and regain 1 expended spell, one first level expended spell slot. So that's cool. I enjoy that. So you can cast some spells and get it back when you're like, all right, channel divinity.
That was
smite me.
When I read that, I had to literally read it out loud to Josh. I was like, "Is this for real?
Do I understand this correctly?"
Yeah, I'm like, "Is this for real right now? Like, is this what I think it is?" I was like, "Jesus Christ, that right there is another one of those like the bard helping out a magic user. Like, that is some game changing shit right there.
Yes,
like I could see." So many people that we know playing with being like, and like just throwing that one out, you know, and the DM's just like, son of a bitch. Like,
so that's fantastic to have. Really cool to see that. Next we have on the list is the Ranger.
Yes. The, every time I want to talk. The Ranger, the canny skill. I was very, that was one of those things again where I had to read out loud to the to Josh and be like, "Is this for real?" The part that got me on the canny part. I know there's a Deft Explorer, but I want to kind of go over that real quick and go straight to canny because this was something I was excited about talking about. It says under you gain proficiency in the chosen skills if you don't already have it, and you can add double your proficiency bonus to ability checks using that skill. Josh is like, "Oh, well, that already has, like, so-and-so already has that." And I'm just like, yeah, I get that, but as a ranger, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
one thing that I kind of like is the bonuses to some of the skills and the roleplay elements that they've been adding. So like with Canny, or again with the Barbarian, who they get to choose from their list and be like, you know, an expert in those. That's great, and I really like watching. What are the dogs doing?
The dogs are being crazy today. We have 2 dogs in the studio, guys. We got Mushi and we got Ahsoka. So
they're being cute and fun and running into the wall. But yeah, so I mean that's really cool to watch, or real cool to see. Just having the role play buffs if you want to choose them.
Yes. I mean, The roving, your walking speed increases by 5, and you gain climbing speed and swimming speed equal to your walking speed. That's cool.
That's amazing.
It's cool. For a climber, I think it's cool, and I think my gnome would be fucking adorable if she had like that ability as a ranger. But
I would just like to say, as a person who primarily plays the humans. Having roving, so you get a swim speed and a climbing speed, to me is life changing. Number one, that means while you're in the water, you don't have disadvantage on attacks. Huge change. And then the climbing thing, I never play anything that just naturally has climbing, so like that to me is beautiful to just have.
The swimming thing, I feel like, is a little too late. Like, I feel like we're about to enter all these places that you can't really swim in.
Well, currently, we're in Avernus.
Yeah, that's why I'm like...
There's a lot of lakes.
Maybe that's why I didn't think it was that special, because to me it was like, like there's not really much we can use that with right now.
So if you go canny, if like this ever comes up, it doesn't say it doesn't stack with expertise right now. So you can essentially times 3 your
expertise. That's what it is.
You can't times 3, or as it's written right now, you can times 3 your proficiency bonus into a certain skill of stealth or survival or perception.
That's fair.
Or investigation.
Expertise is what I couldn't think of.
Which, bro, if you times 3 your investigation, leave.
Yeah, so you have 6 plus your like at level 4.
Yeah.
6 plus your skill check for stealth.
How do I mute me? I'm gonna blow my nose.
So yeah, it would be like 9 at level 4, or like if you hit level 5, you get 6 plus your proficiency bonus, so 9 plus your skill modifier is absurd.
Yes, and if you're especially if you're playing a class that has intelligence on that, bro, it's what plus 12 at that point. So like you're investigate. I love that. I like the investigation skill personally. This is a flat thing, which is why I always take negatives into intelligence. I investigate the table. You have investigated successfully. It is in fact a table. Yes. So the ranger, the roving is cool. They also give you tireless, which as an action can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 10 plus your wisdom modifier. You regain this ability whenever you finish a short rest.
What I don't understand is what's the difference between a favored foe and a favored enemy?
So a favored enemy is pretty specific. This is going to say you can call on your bond with nature to mark a creature as your favorite enemy for a time. The Hunter's Mark spell, wisdom is blah, blah, blah. When you gain... favored enemy, you get to choose like a thing, humanoid or a critter or something like that, and you have a bunch of these.
So this one allows you to change it. So you kind of mark someone for that time being, and then it changes later on when you mark somebody else.
Favored foe is much more combat oriented. The fact that it gives you the Hunter's Mark spell, as a kind of a freebie towards.
I mean, I could see how that's beneficial compared to the favorite enemy, because the favorite enemy, it's like you have an advantage on checks on that time. Yeah, no, I know, and I could see the difference, but.
So
it
switches it from more of like a role play to more of a combat. So I think favorite foe fits a lot better in AL, whereas I think the favorite enemy works better for like bigger campaign settings. I choose vampire. She'll be strong. He's around the corner.
Some of these changes, some of these things, I'm like, is it really necessary? Some of them, I'm like, oh, that's a cool one. A lot of them are cooler than not, but that one to me is just one of those.
Rangers are also one of those classes that have the fighting style options, like archery gives you a +2 to your attack rolls. They've added Druidic Warrior, so it allows you to learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the Druid spell list, very similar to what the Paladins gets. So that's kind of cool to have. Let's see. Your spell list gets expanded, so you're going to see some more spells on there. They also get spell versatility, again, as a spellcaster, how it allows you to change your stuff up, so you're not locked into your own stuff. And that is...
let's read the... I want to read the... There's 2 things I want to read. The Primal Awareness and the Ranger Companion options.
Sure.
The Primal Awareness, you can focus your awareness through the inner connections of nature. You learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in this class. If you don't already know them, as shown in the Primal Awareness spells table, these spells don't count against the number of Ranger spells you know. I always love that. I love when you can add more spells to your list than what is normally allowed on the charts. And some of these are actually really fucking cool. Again, if you're going for that type of ranger, that's going to be that super nature Maliki style ranger. You get at 3rd level detect magic and speaks with animals, of course. 5th, beast sense, locate animals or plants. 9th, speak with plants. 13, locate creature, and at 17th level, you commune with nature.
And the best part about this is Rangers aren't like, they're not heavy spellcasters. They cast very few and they don't get a lot of them. The best part about Primal Awareness, in my opinion, is the last part, is that you get to cast each of these spells once without expending a spell slot. And then once you cast spells of this nature, you can do so.
That's fucking dominant. That I'm not gonna lie. Like, so, that is crazy dominant to be like,
yeah.
It doesn't use your spell slot, so it's pretty much like a
you get one freebie.
You
Yeah, you get the one freebie right off rip. That's
you don't get to keep.
Ability.
Yeah, you don't get to keep doing it. But I do like the fact that it's like, it's almost like the same concept of a cantrip, where it's like you can do it, but it's like that extra. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the extra, and I like that. And this is allowing you to be that nature ranger that you're looking to be without having a subclass with the druid. It seems like that's what they're. Sorry, we're over here. Oh my god!
Is that the moosh moosh?
I don't know. They're both fucking
Everything's happening.
Nuts.
Anyways.
This is like allowing you to not have to subclass other things. It looks like they're allowing you to create that true Maliki worshipping ranger. And you I don't know. I do like a lot of the changes that are going on with the druid, because the ranger. I think they're beautiful, and I think it's something that I could see myself creating this character and having like the green and brown leather armors with like the like imprinted like leaves and like animal paws and stuff like that. Like, that's what I would imagine this ranger looking and set up as.
Mine would be nude. All the way.
With just a loincloth?
Yeah. I would name him Borax. He'd be a redhead. Very furry.
A redhead?
He would speak for the trees. That's my character.
Do the carpet match the drapes? That would be my question. You don't have to answer that.
I just watched The Good Place, and there's this part. Have you seen The Good Place?
I have, and I haven't gone back to it yet.
Long story short, there's this there's wind chimes where my dangly bits are at. You hear the wind chimes,
and it makes noises.
That's what my redheaded druid or my redheaded rogue hat. Ranger. I'm gonna name every class except for Ranger.
I know, right? The Ranger companion options at 3rd level Beast Master feature. This is an enhancement to the Ranger Companion.
Yes.
So it's not a replacement. It's adding on. While wandering the wild, a ranger encounters many sorts of animals, some of which the rangers might befriend. This friendship can arise from successful use of the animal handling skill or the animal friendship spell. If the resulting bond is strong enough... Sorry, I'm distracted because fucking Mushi's making so much noise. Mushi! If the resulting bond is strong enough, the animal might join the ranger on adventures. A ranger who has the Beastmaster archetype can form an even stronger bond, feeling almost like a sibling to an animal. A special type of beast awaits a Beastmaster in the wilds. A creature whose lineage stretches back to the beginnings of the world. A primal beast known as a beast of the air or a beast of the earth. Such a creature seeks out the type of companionship that a Beastmaster offers. Ready for the two of them to battle the imbalances in the natural world. The primal beast is a special creature that a Beastmaster can choose for the Ranger's companion feature. When choosing a creature, you decide whether it is a beast of the air or the earth, and you determine its appearance. Stories describe primal beasts that mystically change form to align with the spirit of their companion. When a primal beast is met apart from a Beastmaster, the creature takes the form a regular beast of challenge, rating 1 of 4 or lower, as determined by the DM. So that's another thing to keep in mind, guys, that while you're doing this, it refers a lot to ask the DM. Ask the DM. Because ultimately, as we all know, the DM is the ending de facto of what happens at that table. So for my experiences, I'm sure other people have different experiences out there, but my experience is that normally when I come to a DM about, like, I want to do this, the DM actually makes it even cooler for me. And they're like, well, I was going to do this, so how does this sound? Yeah, that's cool.
We'll add a little glitter.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can bring something like this to the table, I don't know many DMs that get cranky. If anything, I know a lot of DMs that get really excited. And they're like, yeah, you could totally do that. And then normally, like, someone like Mikey or even Josh will set shit up for me to then be like, oh my god, that was so cool! You know what I mean? And so, like, this is one of those things that I could see me having these ideas and you guys just be like, yup, and then have, like, some dope fucking thing really set up for me, and then you give me the look like, this is your time.
The most unique thing about this Ranger Companion enhancement, the Beast of the Air and the Beast of the Earth, both scale with your Ranger level, whereas your previous companion, like Beast companions, they were locked into a set, like they didn't change much. You know, this is your companion, and that's ran flat.
Ben took the pups out. Should I go over there and scroll up so they can see the Beast of Air and the Beast of the Earth?
Yes.
Stats. You guys.
Yes. Assume the control panel.
I will be back. My
So
big butt on the camera.
with Beast of the Air, which is the first one we're gonna hit. This is gonna be great. There we go. Hey, it's fantastic. So Beast of the Air, AC 13, which is very basic. Hit points are gonna be equal to the con modifier. Oh god. Okay. It's going to be equal to the con modifier, your wisdom modifier, plus 5 times your ranger level. It's a bunch of d6s. Oh god. So, running or determining your creature's hit points.
This is my creature right here.
For Moosh Moosh is going to be. So we'll look at the Beast of Air's con modifier, which is a +1. The number
smells like farts. He's a beast of air right now.
There's a lot of things happening. I'm just trying to math in my head and make it sound coherent. I'm going to skip over that. Long story short, they get some cool stuff. They get the flyby ability, which is a more than SOTS over ability of any flying companion. Owl is super popular for this.
Very. I mean, again, when going back to one of the most exampled rangers that I know of, who's Montolio de Boucher, his buddy was an owl.
Primal Rebirth, this is great. So one thing that you run into a lot with companions is, like, I am guilty of, like, killing rangers' companions, like, ASAP. With this, you don't really you don't lose your companion as much as they get to be reborn.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's kind of sweet. I think it's nice. It's one of those ways to like, because I gotta say, when you like create this bond with a character in your head, and like the DMs do tend to kill the companion because they kind of tend to like really unbalance the whole setup.
It's always like, I send my owl to use the help action. I send my owl. Your owl is dead.
Dude, owls are the worst for DMs. I've seen so many DMs get sad, but then I've seen a lot of players get sad when like you take the owl out and then the owl's gone for the rest of the game, you know? But I think that's this definitely helps out with that, so that you feel attached to every animal.
And then the bread and butter of the whole thing is Ready Companion. So, as a bonus action, you can command the beast to make its shred attack or to hide, which is a fantastic change. There's no companions that have that ability, so it really, in previous aspects, you had to use an action to kind of command your pet to do stuff. Now it's only as a bonus action.
Yay! I love bonus actions.
Following that, the Beast of Earth is similar. It's going to be more of a ground. It's more of a bear or a boar. You know, it has a maul attack. Pretty cool. I'm expecting them to have more like of these like bonding, like beast of fire, beast of the ocean, things like that. But I really like the Beast of Air and Beast of Earth and kind of what flavor they're giving you. But I would expect to see a lot more beasts in final renditions of this. So
I think just we're in a world of people wanting companions, and I think beasts and companion. I'm just flattening it so I can cut that extra paper off.
It looks like a witch's hat now.
Yeah, my joint's a witch's hat apparently. I feel that, what was I saying? God dang it, Mikey. I had a whole thought.
We live in a world now
where people want companions. And I think we are going to see a lot more beasts and companions. And I think, especially in a world where like people are like, I want to have a child and I want it to look like Baby Yoda. I think people just...
I would like to use genetic enhancements.
I think cute, ugly things are like, people want to walk around with them. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the door that's being opened here is what it looks like too.
That's fair.
Who doesn't want like something that looks scary to be your like closest homie, and you're like, no, it's actually really sweet.
No, trust me, it's totally fine.
And it saves the day for you, you know. It's a good feeling.
So that's
what are you oohing?
The rogue.
That's the ranger. Next up, following is the rogue. So the rogue only has one change. Cutting action.
Rogue's got a lot of shit. Let's be
Rogues
real.
Don't need anything.
No.
They need a nerf.
You know what Rogue's got?
Nerf.
We'll be getting to that, what Rogue's got. Rogue's got some psionic bullshit amazingness is what it is.
So Rogues, they've enhanced the cutting action. Cutting action aim. You gain an additional way to use your cutting action. Carefully aiming your next attack. As a bonus action, you give yourself advantage on your next attack roll on the current turn. You can use this bonus action only if you haven't moved during this turn, and after you use the bonus action, your speed is reduced to 0 until the end of the current turn. So this is a great element to constantly be able to use your sneak damage, especially if you're in a solo scenario and you don't have features that already kind of give that bonus stuff. So if you are a thief, and you find yourself in a one-on-one scenario against a target while the rest of the party is away, you will forego a bonus attack.
Do I care? Not at all.
However, giving yourself advantage, so long as you hit, it nearly always guarantees that you're going to sit there, you're going to deal your not crit damage, but, actually increases your ability to crit.
Dude.
But you'll be doing damage all the time, and that's great. The only thing with it is the fact that you can't move. So you basically replace your movement.
That's okay.
And your bonus action.
Sometimes doing the bonus action, disengage, and moving out of there is not the move, because sometimes you had a dash there.
That's fair.
Or like you use all your movement and you're like, I'm stuck here anyways. I mean, honestly, like, I love it.
Yeah.
Because like, there's been so many times where like, it's not that I'm by myself. I'm literally like, the whole rest of the party is just a few feet away. like 5-10 feet away, and that's more like just enough for me to not get my bonus like sneak attacks on there.
And if you run into a target that has a crazy high armor class, rolling with advantage is a really nice element to have being a rogue.
Yeah. Well, especially if you know, like, okay, the beginning of the round, you made your way over there. You're already gonna get that first. Like, imagine if you got your first attack move as a rogue.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go in there, assassin, right? Is like how I do it. So you go in there and you do that, and then you're like, oh, I can't move anyways, but the rest of the homies are on their way in, and then you go and you use that move, that attack, the cunning action aim on top. I mean, dude, you can really set up how the rest of that like encounter is gonna go for the rest of the game. Like you're about to just cut your 30 minutes into like 15 minutes of probably like battling at that point, because you're gonna just
and then even on top of this, it all applies to a ranged weapon as well. So even if you're not gonna move and you're gonna stay stationary, you can just shoot them
That's
with any
dominating.
ranged weapon at advantage, and you also get to deal like your sneak damage if you hit because of reasons. It's pretty cool.
To me, that's. Wait, hold on. That noise. Is that goddamn dog? Can you go into the other? No, we can't even lock him in that room,
One
can
of them's
we?
eating a butt.
He keeps peeing everywhere? This is why we gotta get him fixed.
Good boy.
He's such a shithead. He's just marking everything up, huh?
So rogues get that, and that's the only thing that they get, but that's still an incredible enhancement to your cunning action ability. Following the rogue is the sorcerer. Again, like every class, you'll see, or every spellcaster, they've kind of expanded the spell list. They've given you more spell versatility, so you can swap your spells around a little bit. They've also kind of opened up more on your font of magic options. So when you gain the font of magic feature, it gives you access to empowering reserves, which allows you to... when you make an ability check on your turn, you can spend 2 sorcery points to gain advantage on a check. That's cool. Again, see more roleplay kind of buffs that you can give yourself. This is just another one of those. They've got a ton of meta magic options that have kind of opened up instead of just reading everything. If you're very interested in building a sorcerer, there's some pretty neat and cool stuff. I like the sealing spell. The elemental spell is pretty dope. It's all really nice.
Elemental spells are always fun, though.
Right, but if you're casting like Fireball and you're in Avernus, everything's immune, so you'd be like, well, it's acid.
Yeah.
That's true.
Changing up your spell damage types is awesome. Even if, they have the feats, Elemental Adepts, that allows you, like, if it's not immune to a damage type, you deal damage to it normally, even if it's resistant. So that's a really cool feature to have. And then,
can you hear that noise in the background of the dog? If you guys are watching and you can hear like my dog literally chewing on the toy, please let me know, because we will fix that if I have to. Because that is like...
I honestly didn't think that noise could be coming from Mushi.
Oh my god, it's because he's chewing on something rubber, and
he's about to take the foot off.
Blast, then yes.
Okay, so you
he's
can't.
taking the foot off.
But the puppy is like amazing. He is amazing, but he's being an ass. I have a story to tell really quick. Since we don't do confessions anymore at the end, I gotta just let everybody know what happened. So, I got home after Thanksgiving. I bent down to look for Canterbury underneath the bed, because for some reason she ran under the bed, and Mushi, I'd look up and he lifted his leg and he peed on my head. He jumped on my bed and he peed on my head. I was
That's great.
I was very upset. I was sick. I had other issues going on, and I was really mad. And then I went to go grab him, and I slammed my thumb onto the frame of the bed and bruised my thumb, the tip of my thumb, and it was bad for like 2 days. It's still a little bruised and sensitive, but it's not as bad as it was like the first and second day.
Good.
He's been such a naughty boy. I don't even know what to do right now. All I know is that I gotta take him in and get his little testicles chopped off. He's gotta get fixed. He's bad.
Oh, you got the leg.
You ripped it off?
Good boy.
Oh, here he goes.
He is victorious. Following that is the Warlock. So the Warlock has a ton of additions. Again, they've increased the spell list. They've changed your spell versatility. You've got a bunch of new invocations.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is that punishment for peeing on you? You claim his testicles seems fair. Yes, Fritz. Exactly.
That's why I haven't.
Thank you. I'm glad you see that that's fair. I was afraid people might be like, wow, Cindy, that's kind of mean. No. Look.
You're just chopping things
You
off.
can't mark everything. My head is off limits. That belongs to me.
He said, wow, I really like your hair.
This is my hair. Anyways, I'm sure established dominance. I know, humping doesn't work anymore. So.
Oh my god. Sorry, I was not ready for you to say that right now.
Question. I'm gonna be crucified for this.
Answer.
What is the difference between a warlock and a wizard?
Everything. So there are a couple of really the biggest difference between the two is one of them. Oh god, there's so much.
One gets his powers from a book and knowledge and studying, and the other one gets their powers from making a pact with a old god thing, demon, something.
Okay. No one's ever explained that to me.
Warlocks have a smaller, limited spell list, but get what are called Eldritch Invocations, which are innate abilities that they get and learn.
Okay.
They're crazy.
They get their spell slots back on a short rest.
Okay. That makes sense now.
Okay.
I'm like, don't they both wear robes and do magic? Like, let's see, where power comes from wizards from learning and studying, and warlock for making a deal with something powerful because they are lazy.
Difference between warlock and sorcerers? I don't know.
I love.
It's
gonna be like a short rest.
Demons, and then the other one's
Yeah.
from the devils.
Barack, Fritz's description is fucking hilarious. Wizard, magic, scholar, warlock, eldritch, sugar babies. Ha! I like that even more. I like that. Now I have to make a warlock so I can be like, I'm a sugar baby to this fucking deity, and this is how they fucking gave me my That'd be great. That's my boyfriend.
There's a ton of stuff.
The
in Warlock.
memes.
If you play one or you're interested, again, go check out the.
Gotta give me level 1 spell slots.
Check out the Unearthed Arcana. There's a ton of amazing stuff there. It even goes. Wizards are the follow-up. They've expanded the spell list and they've given you the ability to switch up your cantrips. And then finally, fighting styles. This is something that paladins, fighters, rangers, they all kind of get to use this feature. They've just, as a blanket, given the players the options to pick up blind fighting, interception, thrown weapon fighting, and unarmed fighting. These are all really cool style options that you get to choose from. I love the thrown weapon fighting. The blind fighting is great too. Check them out. They're pretty awesome and really rad. But that is, in a nutshell, kind of wrapping up the Unearthed Arcana for the class variant features. Check them out. Apply them. Use them. And then, as always, make sure you fill out the survey. Maybe you have some really good experiences or bad ones, some changes, things like that.
The chat's making me laugh.
What's chat doing?
They're going off about the difference, like the sexual innuendos of the wizard. So Fritz writes, yeah, you could stick that tentacle in my ear, but first you gotta give me a level 1 spell slots. And then Barack writes, sure, you can reenact hentai on me, but first you gotta give me an Eldritch Blast. Dying. Oh my god. I blame
You're all fire.
I blame Chris Goblin Warlock for all my Warlock knowledge. Her one-sided conversations are amazing.
I love Chris's role playing. It is so good.
I can't wait to have her at the table. I can't wait. I'm excited. Josh and I were talking extensively about it this holiday weekend while he was here for a whole week. He was home a whole week. That was amazing. But yeah, no, this was really great. I'm sad because we're only going to have a half hour to kind of go into the fighter, rogue, and wizard psionics. Because
let's just take a moment. Psionics. This Psionics came out.
Hold on. Let's see if we can do it.
That's gross.
No, it's
That is disgusting.
Hers is baby.
Don't kink shame me.
She said,
Yeah, right?
Baby
He
Yoda.
walks in and all you see is like a cloud and like Baby Yoda's all over the place in my head. It's all Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda. I can't help it.
So Psionics have been around since 2nd edition. I've only had horrible experiences with Psionics. A lot of people will say that it's ruined the game. All sorts of crazy nonsense. The Unearthed Arcana, they've actually taken a stab at it. We have psionic abilities for the fighter, the rogue, and the wizard. I love the idea of psionics and kind of what it manifests itself as. But I've always seen the application of the game to be just awful. In 3.5, where I played the most, psionics ruined every game. I simply just voted to never play with psionics. And so when I kind of saw this come out, I was scared.
Well, okay, so do you know how you even got, like, given psionic powers?
Yeah, it's just manifest thought.
No, you had to roll. Everybody at the table had to roll a percentile dice, and I forget what the number is, but if you got...
gotta roll between like a 95 and 100 to get the like psionic ability.
And you had no choice. If you're like, I don't want to do that, and you fucking rolled it and got it, the DM's like, sorry, you're psionic now.
And then you had to roll another percentile dice to determine your psionic power level. And you had, again, like 99 and 100. You were like the most broken thing.
I mean...
That's why Brock's like, it's so broken. It is.
Psionics it's never been integrated in a way that like enhanced the play for me ever.
No, but it seems like what they are trying to do is to create that dynamic within 5th edition where like you get the option now. You don't have to be told you get, and I think that's just part of the new like yeah, the DM's in charge, but like that's just kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like I get it.
One thing I'll say is the integration of psionics and the Unearthed Arcana are fantastic.
Yeah.
This does not ruin any element of 5th edition for me. In previous, I mean, again, bro, psionics was a whole different rule set. It was a different. It changed the entire game.
Well, Fritz writes, make a sub race like the house marks and be done with it. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. Because I mean,
with this, I mean, again, as soon as we start delving into this, you'll notice it. Psionics are it's welcomed. Like nothing in here blows anything out of proportion. It doesn't come with its own rule set. It fits.
They made it feel like, if you have one in your group, consider yourself lucky because now you have a slight advantage. I mean, that's kind of the feel I got from it. You know what I mean? Like every group should have a psionic.
I'll say that they're better than the Swarm Keeper.
I'm in World's Largest Dungeon right now.
I can't say because I haven't tried it yet.
I'm in a World's Largest Dungeon campaign right now with 2 psionics, and they're literally the only reason we're able to survive anything.
Yeah.
Like they can soak damage, they can create shard entities of themselves, like they can link minds and cast spells off of each other's spell lists. Like the things that they can do in 3.5 is nuts.
Yeah.
Barack Death Song writes, psionics are basically mind games. The only one that isn't it's kind of a mind game, but it's literally like the only rogue I can really imagine playing a psionic rogue like this. I think a changeling really fits well with that rogue archetype, I think you'd be like game breaking almost. You know what I mean? Like you can really fuck with people. I guess yeah, you're right. It is basically mind games. I mean, it's a head fuck. You know?
I mean, nothing in the Unearthed Arcana over Psionics had like nothing in here screams like broken or game changing. Like all of these elements you've seen in all of the other classes in certain ways. A little bit of this is like reflavored. They do a really good job of making you feel like a badass. That's something I like. However, like when you look at the numbers and all of the features and stuff, none of it is scary. Like me as a DM.
Oh hell no! Did you not read the Rogue?
I've read all. Yeah, I've read
the Rogue. To me is the most terrifying one of all.
No.
Yes, dude. You attack somebody and you hurt them and leave no mark. There is no sign of a stab wound. You stabbed them so deep that it stabs their soul. That shit is fucking terrifying.
However, like, in terms of mechanics, you don't do anything. There's no extra damage. I mean, the roleplay elements in this are really cool.
It is metal, bro. I definitely think it's fucking metal. The Psionic is definitely, to me, the anti-hero. All these Psionics are very like dark. I like this rogue way better than the other rogue that they did. The revived, right? No, the return.
That was the return. It might be the revived.
I thought it was a revived.
The R something.
Yeah, the other rogue that they just finished, that they had just done last time.
So okay.
This one's way cooler.
The roguish archetype, it is for the psionic thing is called the soul knife. A soul knife possesses powerful psionic potential. They channel this reservoir of inner magic into tangible blades of psychic energy. Striking at their victims' minds, they find easy employment as members of thieves' guilds, and they're particularly sought after as assassins, since their signature psychic blades leave behind no visible wounds. So the psychic blade is you manifest a short sword, essentially. You can throw it. It does some stuff.
Dude.
You
literally as...
Again,
dude, this shit is fucking amazing. You can completely go invisible.
No, bro, compared to psionics in my kind of element, like compared to psionics, like 3-5 psionics and those psionics, these psionics are weak AF. Just in comparison to those two from 3-5 and 5th edition.
So I would tell you, from the ability that a fighter has, the augmented defense, where as a reaction you can roll a d10 to mitigate that much damage. In 3-5, it's like you take 40 damage. He's like, cool, I spent 10 power points and I take 0. Because for every power point, they can absorb 4 damage. So he can just absorb damage for days.
There are crazy wild elements and like what psionics used to be in comparison. Like this is very tame, and this fits into the 5th
It does fit.
Power level.
No, I do agree. It does fit, but it's definitely one of those like when you combine certain races with something like this, like you've definitely set yourself up, and you've created like the ultimate like scouting rogue. You know what I mean? Like the rogue that's gonna go out there and scout, cause massive amounts of damage. You know what I mean? And then allow the rest of the group to come in and finish off the work that's been left behind. You know, that's. I'm sitting here when I read this, and I think in my mind like, how, and I play out like sample things of like, oh, I remember this time Mikey DM'd, and what if I would have done something? That's how I run things in my head, and like a changeling soul knife rogue. I'm telling you, that could
just poke into the brain,
dude. Like that's just like talk about never trusting anybody. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly what I'm imagining when I think of that. And I don't know. I think that the rogue is one of my favorite ones out of all of the ones that I've had.
They have some rad ability, like terrifying blade. You poke them in the brain and you deal some stuff, and then you can cause the frightened effect. Rend Mind. That's rad. It's a 17th level ability.
Wait, oh yeah, Brock wrote also, can I just say pretty much all half something races / monsters were made by a horny bard. I want to play a beholder bard. That sounds like something Mike would say.
I see what you did there. But no, I mean, like, all the psionic, these are all awesome. I mean, if I were to compare...
Mikey, would Blue Feather just go ahead and just go on?
Do you think? Oh, would he just slam it up? Would he just pound
to
it
get his
out?
way?
Blue Feather.
Would he be down to like
Blue
caress
Feather's
a
always
female
down.
beholder?
Blue Feather would be like, it's not my first rodeo. Ain't gonna be my last. That all depends on if he would be able to seduce the goddamn thing.
That's true. Blue Feather would try. He'd be like, "You want my boot? It's my favorite boot."
But I mean, in comparison, like, I've thought of comparing, like,
Blue Feather's where baby shifters come from.
The fighter.
That's what Fritz wrote about them.
That's where shifters all come from. Hey, it's not. You know, love knows ill balance.
Especially not to Blue Feather yet.
But I mean, in comparing like the Psychic Warrior, which is what the fighter gets and all of their abilities, comparing the Psychic Warrior to the Rune Knights that the fighter gets, dude, like, I think they're on par, like on level pars. Like everything on here is super cool. None of it like defeats the game, but again, you feel like a total badass. Like the psionic armament, the telekinetic bulwark.
Now, see, the Psychic Warrior, I can see. What are they called again, Ben? The Kalishtar, right? The Kalishtar.
Yeah.
The Kalishtar. I'm saying that right. Yeah. That's who I would see playing a martial archetype. Like that would again.
Yeah, no.
That's like a dominating fucking character right there because he's already all psychic. So imagine if you add more of that psychic, like psionic warrior thing to him. It's just like that's what he was trained for.
Now the fighter and the rogue are both melee classes. They've also brought out the wizard. Now this is where psionics kind of have always gotten weird for me. Is the spellcasting psionics. So they came out, Arcane Tradition, psionics. There's a lot to kind of go through. So instead of going through everything...
9 pages of 3 different classes of stuff. That's a lot of pages, but...
They've added some spells that are all psionic kind of...
I like the telekinetic hand. You learn the mage hand cantrip. You can cast it without components, and you can make the spectral hand invisible. Intelligence is your spell casting ability for the spell. Like that right there.
Yes.
Jack that out of that pocket. Jack that out of that pocket. Boop, better get that from the desk.
There's also some key things. Psionic Devotion. This changes some of the spells that you can already cast. One of those being Friends. Whenever you cast Friends, at the end of the spell, the person knows that you cast Friends on them. If you are a Psionic, they actually, or when the spell ends, generally they become hostile towards you. They don't. If you cast Friends on them, they understand it.
Wouldn't you be flattered? You're like, oh, no one ever wants to be my friend. You felt like you had to cast a spell? Why didn't you just ask? We could have totally been friends.
It affects your mage hand, and it affects your message. One of the things, Thought Form at 6th level, you, as a bonus action, magically transform your body into pure psionic energy. It's called Thought Form. While you're in Thought Form, your figure is kind of a luminous psychic energy, and you get some cool abilities. When you cast a spell in Thought Form, you cast a spell psionically, meaning that it doesn't require verbal, somatic, or material components, so long as it lacks a gold cost, and you get Psychic Resilience. So you gain resistance to psychic damage, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. So you basically get to rage as a mind warrior of death and destruction. I think that's amazing. You can do it equal to the amount, equal to the time, equal to your intelligence modifier.
Yeah, that's the one thing that when you are creating a psionic character, intelligence, you want to have your high intelligence. That's where you want to put your biggest stat at. Because that's going to give you like the ultimate advantage of all these things that you're looking for.
And then the other thing I wanted to note is they give you, or they added a new spell. It's a cantrip. This is kind of like the psionic, like themed cantrip spell called Mind Sliver. It's one action, range of 60 feet. You drive a disorienting spike of psychic energy into the mind of one creature you can see within range. The target must make an intelligence saving throw. Unless the saving throw is successful, the target takes a d6 of psychic damage. And the first time it makes a saving throw before the end of your next turn, it must roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled from the save. I am a huge fan of Mind Sliver with any other class that has a cantrip that's a spell save. So Sacred Flame or Vicious Mockery. Those are both spell save checks. Making it so that they have to roll a d4 and subtract from their save really gives it a boon to your other party members. I love it.
Yeah.
Love Mind Sliver.
Let's see. Barak Death Song writes, mystics are broken, and a mystic, a bard, and a rogue could know all your secrets. Know all your secrets. And steal all your shit all in one day. And then Cleric Games writes, isn't there a rogue from Xanathar's that's basically can siphon information from you? I don't know. Is there?
Is that Mastermind?
I think so.
The Mastermind.
Or it's a cleric where it's like if you die, they can like get all your information. Or I'm thinking a changeling. I don't know.
Wait, what did you say? What was that last part? They could take what?
Like they take all the information that you had about you, and they can use it to.
No, I don't think that's a changeling because a changeling can't like suck information out of your head and like take on your knowledge.
It absorbs.
It can only look at you and like.
It does intellect devourer stuff.
It like just takes your form. It doesn't know anything about you. That's the one thing about change. That's what I'm saying. When you add some sort of like psionic thing to a changeling, that's when a changeling becomes scary. Also, you forgot the air quotes on know all your... Sorry. Know all your secrets.
It is a mastermind, insightful manipulator.
That's what that is.
You're going to spend 1 minute observing.
I think I've made a mastermind.
You can spend 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside of combat, and you can gain certain information about its capabilities compared to your own. The DM tells you if the creature is equal to, superior, or inferior in regards to 2 of the following characters of your choice: intelligence, wisdom, charisma scores, or class levels, if any.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you can begin to like mimic that creature at level 17.
I like the Mastermind. It's pretty OP.
Isn't that what Deceive You is supposed to be? I don't even remember. I haven't played her in so long.
So, I mean, they added some really cool
Did
spells.
you read Ego Whip yet?
No.
That was Ben's favorite. Ben liked the Ego Whip. That one is a 4th level enchantment. You get casting time of 1 action, 30 feet, concentration up to 1 minute. You lash the mind of one character you can see within range, filling it with despair. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or suffer disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws, and it can cast spells. And it can't cast spells. At the end of each of its turn, the target can make another intelligence saving throw. On a success, the spell ends on the target. So that's like...
That shuts down every casting.
That's like going in there and like Misery Loves Company. Like you literally went in there and you're like, I'm so depressed. And you like add your depression to that person. They're like, I can't.
Asarak from Tomb of Annihilation. Final boss fight, Eagle Whip. The boss is like, I don't cast anything. I am an all-powerful lich. And
I'm sad.
I'll attack him with my staff.
He chooses to succeed.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, he does?
But if you can fish all of those out, just cast.
So somebody banishes him, he chooses to succeed. Somebody polymorphs him, he doesn't care because he's a lich, and I don't think he can be polymorphed. And then you Eagle Whip and Eagle Whip, like
bam, there you go. I mean, yeah, that's like 4 rounds. Well, Okay, you're right. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's out the window.
I like Mind Thrust too. That's a good one. Plus, I like the name.
But yeah, check them out. All the spells are pretty cool. I think they did a fairly good job balancing on making them both powerful in certain elements. And then the final thing they did with all the psionics is they added some feats. I like these. I think these feats should definitely be implemented. The first one is telekinetic. You remove things with your mind. You gain the following benefits.
We'll get back to that, Barack, after we do these feats. We'll answer those questions for sure for you. Those are good questions.
You get to buff your intelligence score by 1. You learn the Mage Hand cantrip, and you can cast it without verbal, somatic components. And you can make the spectral hand invisible, super powerful, as a bonus action. You can try to shove one creature you can see within 5 feet of the spectral hand created by your magic hand spell. When you do so, the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 5 feet away from you.
Thank you, Barack, for following. We appreciate that. I don't know. So let's call a spade a spade. Let's
call a spade a spade.
Yes. Pretty much what they created here is like now you can be a Jedi or a Sith in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, let's be real. Like that. You read this, you look at those feats that now are there that you can pick up, and to me, that's literally like a Jedi. I mean, we are now somehow bringing in Jedis and the Force in the style and flavor of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
So it's really cool to see. I've been enjoying the Unearthed Arcana that's been coming out.
Fritz, right? Oh, I thought you were gonna say this is just fan service to get people off their backs.
Anyways,
I mean, so Josh is a big fan, and he played Dark Sun, and he had a halfling soul knife when he was a kid, and so he's super excited, and he thinks that they're going to be bringing back what did I just say? Dark Sun. So I don't know. I'm curious. After I play my Swarmkeeper and Glipdoc, I'm gonna retire her, and then I think I'm gonna try to create something out of the psychic and or the psionics. I mean, and see what I think about that, and come back and report back on that. Yeah, I'd like to do that. Barack Desson wrote a question. What's your personal favorite part of D&D, role-playing, or combat? Mikey, you go ahead. You answer first. I'd like to see what you have to say about that.
Oh, gosh. Ask me the question one more time.
What's your personal favorite part of D&D, role-playing or combat?
My personal favorite is going to be role-playing. The reason why I say that is I primarily DM. I enjoy combat for its simplicity and its uniqueness, and where you can get really crazy with a lot of things. But I think that role-playing is the most fun for me because I get to, like, as I'm narrating this, the players narrate the story, but as I kind of like fill in gaps and stuff, it's really fun to kind of see the dynamic changes in the players. Mm-hmm. I think as a player, I would honestly prefer I think combat's the most fun. As just me building a character and being like strength of mind and telekinetic this, and I love combat as a player, and I love role play as a DM.
For me, I get very stressed out during combat, so I'm heavily role play based. That's why I think I play bards so much, and rogues are very easy for me to role play because it's like, yeah, of course I'm gonna go do all these extra things, but then like, I'm a sneaky snake. But I like the role playing aspect more of it. I am a talker. I like to try to get us. If we can avoid any sort of combat, I try to avoid it as much as possible.
What I would like to do is I would also like to say that I think that roleplay and combat are conceptually the same. Where in roleplay, you still make all of these rolls. when I think of roleplay, I think of it as like as combat. Because like you come up and you're like, I want to do this is my attack is to persuade them to do something, and you still roll and you're still doing these things, and I feel that roleplay is very combat. It's very similar to combat, where you're still making these rolls, and like my AC and my HP are like weird intangible things that you have to like be. I don't know.
See, okay, so for me, when I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons, and in combat scenes, like I imagine like a combat scene like the way they like R.A. Salvatore rolls it out, like when he's describing it. Like I want my character to be like Driss, where it's like I want to do a fucking flip over the guy, and I want to like slash him with one, and then I want to come back and I want to parry and like stab him with the other one, and like the DM's looking at me like, you can't do all that. Like you have to roll for this, see if you even go over him. Do you have a bonus action to hit that? Well, now you can't do the second one because you've already wasted it on this move. And I'm just like, oh, that's so disappointing. So for me, the combat isn't as exciting.
That's fair.
As the role playing, because I feel like I have more freedom in the role playing times of like what's going on. Like, well, I want to do this and this, and they're like, okay, because then there's no actions that have to go down with it. Whereas in combat, there's so much specific rules that have to be followed. And if you have someone at the table or a DM that's very rules orientated, it's like it could be very like blue ballsy. It's very like, oh, like I wanted to do that and now I can't. Like
I see that.
And it's frustrating. So I like to be able to role play and get us out of those things, because then I feel like that was my job. Like now nobody dies because I got us out of it, and maybe we got a new friend too in the making. I don't know, like it all depends. But that for me, yes, is that. What am I missing? The role play. Ha, I get it. Oh yes, there you go.
I actually like exploration, because if you do it well enough, you don't need to have combat. You just like we stealthily take everything out as we're going, and we're exploring everything, and like
exploration has a lot of like story play for me that I really enjoy, because I like telling like when you explore, your opportunity to build a narrative with the players is more abstract. Like you can add dead bodies and clues and have them piece together like a story arc. I like doing that a lot too. Like an abandoned home, like who used to live there? When you go to the bedroom, like you can really decorate it, like the wardrobe and the bed and stuff.
Yes.
And I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, and for me, like these guys are saying, like they like, we like to stick to the rule of cool. There are a lot of people, especially since we play in the Adventures League world, that rules are very like, if the rules aren't set and you go and you kind of go away from those rules, people tend to get stressed out. Yeah. So like I understand having to stay, especially in the world of Adventures League, having to stay in a certain type of like structure within it. Yeah. It's doesn't mean it's any less frustrating, but I understand. And like for me, I enjoy a DM that's not so antiseptic, that's like, no, like, and they kind of like guide you back into like, I like DMs like you and Josh, where like you kind of let us go off for a second and then you like figure out how to bring us back into the path that we're supposed to be in, instead of being like, no, there's still nothing there. It's like a light flashes and then dims and you realize, oh, it's not there. Like I like the flavor added to it. I like when a DM adds that extra flavor so that I don't feel like I wasted my time saying something. Yeah. Like make me feel like everything I'm trying to give at you, you're expressing that it's not going to do anything because there's nothing there. You know what I mean? But I don't know, because there are DMs that like, you have to say the magic word if you're going to really find out. Because I've had tables where I'm like, I go to look for something and they're like, well, you didn't say this word or else you would have found it. And I'm like, God, mother of... why didn't you just make me roll for it? And then at least that would have made sense to me that, you know what I mean? Like, we missed something or whatever.
One thing that I was reading about is certain, like, when you have the players investigating an area, if you just, like, have them do their investigation check, and then, like, you know, if you go in there and you're searching the bed and that has absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing, when you roll the investigation check, it's really easy to give the player the satisfaction of, like, investigating the bed in a certain sense. But, like, you know, as you investigate the bed, you see nothing but out of the corner of your eye. You see a glint underneath the whatever. And instead of, like, having players keep trying to roll to investigate something else, it's just a one blanket roll, and it kind of helps not only speed up the game, but it doesn't make anyone feel dumb about, like, the magics, like the password to whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I definitely. And that's why I enjoy when you DM, Mikey, because you tell me
play and you're like, I want to. What is it? Okay, I searched the wardrobe. Tell me about, like, the clothes that are in there. Like, I'm really trying to identify where I am in this place, and it has nothing to do with anything that's going on. And then you're like, well, you know, because if it's very fancy clothes, I can expect the person would hide something. And bro, you conceptualize these ideas that are so foreign to me that it's very I base everything I do around what you might say. I just throw out a jar of marbles, and then your mind goes this direction, and I'm like, let's chase it.
Watch, it's gonna be a mimic barn. It is now.
It is.
Yeah. Well, because for me, like, when I play these characters, like, I try to really feel that, like, the person, especially with you and Josh, like, you guys make it very easy to, like, know who I'm talking to. Like, you guys will describe what they're wearing and what they look like, and then you guys will describe, like, how angry or how happy or whatever they are by the way you act them out. And so, like, I ask a couple, like, key questions, like, well, do they look this upset, or do they look like they're just a grouchy prick? I do fish because then
Tell me the motives, please.
Because then I know what questions to ask. Yeah. Like, then I'm like, oh, okay, this person's not going to work well if I'm, like, this type of way. And so, like, as a player, I also don't want you to cater to just me, but I want to cater to you as the DM, because then I know you're going to turn around and be like, all right, so this next part, like, or later on this part, I know to really pull in that character, because they're going to react after now knowing kind of, like, what they're looking for in this game. Like, that's kind of, like, what I'm feeding to the DMs. Like, I try to feed this information to the DM that's going to then hopefully be like, ooh, what am I going to do with this part of the story? Like, maybe they were reading the night before and they're like, you know, because I read things and I'm like, oh, I wonder if this person's going to do that. So, like, I try to do the game where we play off of each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because then it makes it fun. Where, again, when you get a DM that's very, very, like, okay, monotone about how they're playing it, and they're like, no, they're like, I don't know what to say.
You'll know who that person is when they say, well, I don't write the module, I just run it.
That kills me.
You can find them.
That kills me.
Those are the key words. That's how you know. I didn't write it. This is just what it says.
Then it's like, use your damn imagination or don't DM at all. Like, that's why I don't DM, because I don't right now yet. I don't DM yet because if I'm gonna DM something, I want to know everything about what I'm about to do. Because then if you try to throw some question at me, then I'm like,
I'll give you all an example. I don't want to fight these obviously bad orcs. I want to convince them to come with me to kill a dragon. And you're like, hold on a second. It's very clear here that they just want to kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do here. It's not written. It's not anywhere in the book.
No, you just get creative, and then you're like, okay, and then that thing's done, and now we're back. Like, whatever that thing was, guided you right back to where you're supposed to go to. But yeah, so
anyways,
we will. we will see you guys later this evening. We have Demons and Devils, or Devils and Demons, or whatever the hell order that goes into with Danny tonight. Yes. I will be there. Will you be watching?
I'll be watching.
Yeah. Josh will be there. We will, Ben will be there in the background doing the magic of the streaming. And yeah, we will see you guys. I think, isn't this Thursday our other game?
It is! It is the Essentials Kit on Thursday with Lee, Lo, Cindy, and myself as we try to save Phandalin from a dragon in the ice mountains of Sword Coast and things.
Will we find little Tommy?
He's been missing for days now.
Sylvie hopes so.
Well, that's right. I still need to... Well, I have to figure out if he's still alive yet.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
See, Marshmallow, and if you ever have a chance to kind of watch back some of the other stuff, the last episode was pretty great because there were things that were not in the Essentials Kit that our DM over here decided to throw in because we were going off a little bit too much of the story. Good examples of how to just throw something fun in and guide everyone back to where they're supposed to be.
It had been made clear to me that it's very... my poker face of when I'm coming up with some shenanigans is I'm like, I'll just do that for a couple of moments. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, this is going to be good.
Thank you guys again so much for joining us. Thank you for the follows. Make sure you find us on social media. We're here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, maybe a little couple minutes after 1 o'clock. But we are here, and we will see you guys soon. Baby Yoda,
baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby Yoda. I still have bacon pancakes stuck in my head.
We gotta make a little.
We'll cross it over.
Yeah.
I'll make bacon pancakes with baby Yoda. Huh.
Thank you, Brock.
Are we rating people?
Yes.
We are. I keep on clicking the rate button and it's not going over.
That's okay. Who are we rating today?
I don't know.
Without
limits?
Let's check them out. Yeah.
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 Thanks, Brock, for the subs. We really appreciate you guys. Everything helps. We are working on getting a new camera, so when we go to do things, we will have a map view with miniatures. We are building and growing, and we are getting bigger, and we are going to make more things.
Yeah.
And we'll keep you guys posted on everything. Thank you.
Awesome, yeah.
This is Little
I like this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Little Barnacles, for the sub. We appreciate that. Thank you.
There's a dog.
Pew, 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 pew.
Stop licking my ankles.
Are we out?
I don't know. I hit the rate button and I think we're still going.
Oh, man. Maybe we won't be rating
We'll
this
just be
today.
hanging out for a minute. So.
Baby Mooshy, baby Mooshy.
Take some baby and you put it in a mooshy.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So
now I feel awkward.
So, Friendsgiving was fun. I really wanted you to play the Cold.
By the time we rated, everybody already fucking logged